What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk about the disaster that we've been seeing regarding food. We are seeing some food shortages. We're seeing issues inside retail stores and grocery stores. We're seeing quality control issues. But today I want to give you more of a boots on the ground type of report. When I say boots on the ground, I know somebody last week said, well, boots on the ground means military. Well, in some cases, yes. In this case, and in many cases, no. Boots on the ground, and what I'm referring to are the people. The people that are there, seeing the issues, dealing with the issues, and then reporting back. So, that's what today is. We're going to go through some of the comments again. I know a lot of you guys really like that. And if you like that, yes, I read through the comments and I go and answer, and I go and I tell you guys what's happening. Not just from my eyes, but from what other people are seeing as well. You really like that, so I decided let's continue that and let's do it again today. So that's what we're going to do. Here's what's happening. We're seeing so many issues with grocery stores. That's Walmart, Costco, Kroger, right? Trader Joe's has been seeing some issues lately. It doesn't matter. Aldi, there's so many different stores out there that are struggling, all right? And I want to break down what's happening. But first, let's get into what some people are talking about regarding Walmart. So let's look at this right here. Sherbear63 says, most my produce from Walmart lately in my deliveries is already spoiled. I'm getting really frustrated with them. They will only give me a refund if I bring it back to the store. Seriously? Why have a delivery service? Now, I use, technically my wife uses a lot of these different, services, whether it's Walmart or, we go to Fred Meyer and, there's so many different stores that offer, delivery, or you just pull up and they bring it out. Well, a lot of times what we're seeing is the meat is almost expired, right? It's coming close to that date. And one of the things that I asked, a worker at the store is, do they go and pick the one that is almost expired? And what they said was that's kind of what their manager told them. Don't get the ones that are like on sale that have like a 50% off discount coupon. No. Those are probably going to expire that day. Get the ones that are going to expire within the next day or two. Okay? And the reason for that is because if somebody is going to get the products, taken to them or delivered, chances are they're going to cook it that night. Now, we don't do that. So, we actually stopped buying meat. And I actually have a story for you as well. And this is something that somebody sent me just the other day. They said, now let me read this to you. While at Walmart the other day, I ran into a worker that told me never buy meat at Walmart. So a worker at Walmart is saying, don't buy meat at Walmart. He said that you will get a better meat and it will be cheaper if you shop at Costco. But listen to this. He then informed me, go to Costco and buy large cuts of beef and then ask the butchers in the back to cut it the way that you want it. Because you're going to pay for the large cut, okay? So it's cheaper. You're going to get better meat than if you were to buy it at Walmart. Have you ever heard that? I've heard that before, and I've done it probably a couple times. But again, that's something that's great to be reminded of. If you have a Costco membership, or if you go to a store that has a butcher, buy the larger cuts of meat, have them slice it the way you want it, and then you're going to save some money. All right? So a little tip for you right there. Now, let's get into some other things. Okay? What some people are seeing. And let's see. Here's something I want to show you. This is from Joseph right here. He says, when it comes to produce, it has nothing to do with supply and demand. There's just less to sell. And half the crops are being trashed. Some farmers have given up for this year. Rice will not be in stores next year due to shortage. Get it now. So he's right and wrong here. He says when it comes to produce, it has nothing to do with supply and demand. It does a little bit, because what we have actually noticed is the less expensive produce is, for one, it's usually gone. And I saw this quite a bit this summer with corn. Corn was sold out almost everywhere, right? We're seeing watermelon. Watermelon, when it was a little bit less expensive, right? People loved it. As it got a little bit more expensive, they stopped buying it. Okay? Not only that, but some watermelon, you cut into it, it looks horrible, it tastes horrible. You should almost take it back to the store. But then Joseph goes on to say, and half the crops are being trashed. For one, I don't know if it's 50% of the crops. I'd have to look into that. But we do know there's a lot of crops out there that they're not even gonna try to sell it because it's garbage. But then he says some farmers have given up for this year. Yeah, farmers gave up on planting and harvesting their crops just because fertilizer was so expensive, water, and the drought that we're currently going through. That was a big issue, right? That's just one of the things. Now, I want to read you this because not only are farmers did they stop and they not plant certain crops, but we've seen shortages of workers. There's been worker shortages. Now I want to read you this that I got from somebody just the other day. It says, and I quote, "I was in a Big Lots this week and noticed that all the shelves were empty. However, there were pallets and pallets of unwrapped goods all throughout the store." And let me know if you've seen this as well. When I asked the person behind the register why all the products weren't unloaded and on the shelves, she told me the problem is she is the only person employed by that store. One person in a Big Lots store. That's it. I don't know if she was the manager. I don't know if she was just an employee. I have no clue. But this leads me to something else that I thought was very interesting. And we probably all heard of quiet quitting, right? That's something that's been happening lately. But have you heard of quiet firing? This is different. This isn't coming from the employee. This is coming from the employer. Here's what's happening. Quiet firing is something where the employer will give you like more tasks, things that aren't even part of your job description. They will give you a horrible work schedule. They'll do things like give you duties you absolutely hate, or they'll slowly start to cut back your hours. We see this in fast food restaurants all the time. We see this in some grocery stores as well. But again, and what's crazy about this is how are employees or employers trying to go and hire more people, but yet they're gonna kind of quiet firing all these people. But what happens is the employer is trying to make you quit. They don't want to fire you. They want to make you quit, but they're almost forcing you to do it. And we're seeing this all over the place. But again, I just wanted to throw that out there because again, I've seen that in a handful of places. And I've talked to friends as well that they're saying that they think they're seeing it, but they don't know. They don't know yet because they haven't been fired. It's just people are pushing them to their limits. Now, I want to read you a couple other things really quick. Let's see, where is it at? Because again, there's so many different comments. The problem, and here's one I want to read you as well. This one's from Chris Lee. It says, the other day my daughter was making it's called pastaroni white cheddar. About like 5 days ago, she found a maggot worm in it when she started cooking it, and it didn't expire yet till January. And small tub of fresh Parmesan cheese has green mold spots. Now, I've talked about this before, that we are seeing Parmesan cheese expire or go moldy faster. I don't know if it has something to do with the some of the ingredients in it. I have no clue. Okay, the additives, I have no idea. Need to look into that because I've seen it multiple times for me personally. Now, The other thing, found a maggot worm inside a box of pastaroni. I've heard of this before, okay? Now, this is, again, there's always going to be issues, especially with any packaged goods, as it goes through the manufacturing process, right, through processing. The issue is quality control. Here's the problem. What we are seeing is, quality is down. Quality is down because the quality control supervisors, the workers, there's not enough. We're also seeing, and here's a big issue, and this is something that I actually heard from somebody else as well, is that China is not sending the products over that we need that would go through or help us with quality control. Okay, some of the machinery, it's not being sent. Now, I want to read you this. I quote, "I recently had a friend," and this is not from me, this is a message I received, I think on Facebook, but "I recently had a friend visit me from China, and what he told me was alarming. He said that the Chinese manufacturers he has worked with are not sending as much equipment to the U.S. For farming and manufacturing. He said it wasn't because they didn't have it, but they were ordered to limit exports." So China is being ordered to limit exports. Now, again, this is just from one person. Now, I've seen it reported on other articles and other websites as well. So I assume this is something that's happening. This kind of does sound something like China would do. But again, I just want to throw that out there. Just want to warn you guys, this is kind of what we're seeing. Let's see. One of the other things I just want to bring up is we are seeing so many different price increases. And this is why this is a complete disaster, is we are seeing less and less of certain products, which are usually the less expensive products. We're seeing less of those, which is what's causing the shortage. But at the same time, prices are still going up, but the size, the portions are getting smaller. And I want to read you this. This was actually emailed to me with a picture. But this person goes on to say, "I went to my favorite breakfast place this morning and got the exact same thing I do every week for the past 3 years. Normally, my hash browns, eggs, sausage, bacon, toast, and waffles cost," that sounds like a good breakfast, cost $9.37. Today, I paid $14.52 for the exact same thing. The only difference is the portions were much smaller." Now, I've said this time and time again. We are seeing something called shrinkflation, where the price of the product doesn't change or doesn't change much, but the size of the product. Instead of a big box of cereal, you get a little smaller box. It's very difficult to tell, but because in some cases the boxes are almost the same, but inside the bag of cereal, it contains less. I brought this up with KFC. I go to KFC quite a bit because my 3-year-old really loves their chicken or macaroni and cheese or their biscuits or whatever, right? And so we'd go there. What I noticed is their portion sizes are smaller. If you get a large macaroni and cheese, it usually comes in like a container like that, I guess. Instead of it being full and like packed in, it was half full. It's been half full for the past 3 months, 4 months. So yeah, I'm seeing it. We also know that Denny's has increased their prices ever so slightly, but their portions are smaller. And here's something else, and I want to bring this up because this really it was kind of irritating, but here's something that happened. I actually went to an Olive Garden just recently, probably in the past few weeks, and when I went there, I noticed that because you get with the never-ending salad, the never-ending pastas, I noticed with the salad, the server would come back less. They wouldn't come back to the table as much to see if you need a refill or you wanted more. Okay, it's just a salad, no big deal. But what about the pastas, the never-ending pastas? Well, let's talk about that. Because we went there, I got the never-ending pasta, and there's a few people around me that did as well, from other tables with different servers. Guess what? We hardly saw any server for the rest of our meal. Any server. Now, I know some people that work at Olive Garden, And so I asked, and they said no, that they don't. It's not on purpose that they don't go out and ask if you need any more. And I kind of just brought that up. Well, guess what happened? You guys came out less when we were there like a month or so ago. The server's coming out every few minutes. Hey, you need anything? Everything good? Everything great? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. But when you get the never-ending pasta, and then you barely see them, it's interesting. But let me know if that's ever happened to you. Now, let's see. What is a lot of people at Walmart and Costco? They're talking about how there are price increases for rice. Rice is getting so much more expensive. In some cases, it's up over 200%. And let me know if that's happening in your area as well. Water has increased in price. Sodas obviously increased in price. Sugar is getting more expensive. If you're drinking a soda, first off, that's not the greatest thing to drink. I personally will drink a soda, every now and again. But again, if you want to survive, a soda's not going to get that. You're just not going to get the nutrients that you need. Water would probably be the best thing for you. Even some juice. And in that, there's a handful of people that are saying don't buy juice because what they're seeing is there is mold spots. There's like little bits of mold that sit at the top of these juice boxes. Whether it's a small little juice box for a kid or a larger one, and I've talked about this before, where I go and pour a glass of juice in one of the, not a clear container, right? One of the little cardboard boxes, pour a little glass of juice, and then I see the mold start to spill out of it. Don't drink that. Take it back to the store. Okay, get rid of it. And that's what a lot of people are saying. Don't buy juice like that. Here's something else, and I saw this. Okay, I want to touch on this really quick. Linda Waxman, okay, she said Costco reduced in bread area. Less selection and less of it in the fresh baked area. Now, I want to touch on this for one main reason. I saw this exact same thing happen. Okay, the Costco reduced the size of the bread area. Now, it means less, there are not as many cakes. We're not seeing as many muffins, right? And let me know if you've seen this as well. But I have seen at my local Costco's that they stopped selling chocolate muffins. There are times when there's no chocolate muffins. They got poppy seed, they got the cinnamon streusel, whatever. They got like blueberry, but no chocolate muffin. That was interesting. But I've seen it. I've seen it happen. Okay? So, these are just some of the things that are happening. And again, and I've addressed this before, where Walmart was shrinking the size of their produce area. Okay? And this person is, and again, I've seen my Costco shrink the size of the bread area. I've seen them shrink the size of the meat area as well, right? So the meats are actually getting pushed over, and now the cheeses are starting to overflow into the meat section. So it's kind of interesting there. Is there's just more cheese? I don't think there is. It's probably easier to get, or there's not as many people buying the big expensive meats anymore, and so maybe Costco's kind of getting rid of that, right? But again, this is something that we've seen. Stores you're trying to get a little bit smarter and get one leg up on the consumer. And so instead of having less products and looking like their shelves are empty, they're shrinking the section and making other sections bigger. We've seen it, okay? And so this is just another example that Costco's doing it with their bread area. But again, these are some of the things that are happening right now, and I just want to throw this out there just so you understand why this food issue is a complete disaster. We have so many different reports saying that there is going to be a major food shortage. We're already seeing some shortages. We're seeing price increases. We're seeing it's harder to get certain products, right? Not just from the store to your home. Maybe they go bad over the 30 minutes it takes you to get there and put it in your fridge. But we are seeing so many different issues regarding shipping times, the cost of shipping, all right? So that's what's happening at this time. Again, I just wanted to fill you in on what's happening regarding the food shortages, quality control, and everything in between. If you have any questions whatsoever, Please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Also, feel free to share what you are seeing in your area. Again, I will do another report just like this, most likely next week. We will talk about some of these issues. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.